Special leg with a pretty face, small waist. I'd rather stand here, share your space with you. Color tie, Muay Thai, I wanna lie with you. I wouldn't lie to you. I'm the truth. Get my full mount, side mount, what do? I wanna take you, control by the wrist. We can go rounds 3, 4, 5, 6 in the clinch. Yeah, we in the clinch, baby. Best believe me, we in the clinch. You and I, we in the clinch, baby. Say what you say. Whoops! Up all that? Yeah! Yes! Up off that! What's up, my people? This is ShowBizz the Adult. It's Monday! All right, man, look at who we have here. Who do we have up here? Carlos, what's going on with you? My man Tyrese. What's going on with you? Oh, okay. Whoops. All right, man. Look, first, I want to say this. Hit the Tyson bell. It's a beautiful day for boxing. Everybody who's coming in here, we will have a few topics. Now, the main topic that's going to probably take most of the time, and I'm not going to be here for the full hour. If you guys don't know, I will be jumping over to the boxing voice. Mama, the THA boxing voice. The boxing voice. I will be going over there, spend some time with them, Ness and all of them, talk to them about some boxing. Not sure what we're going to be talking about, but I'm sure it's going to be fun. So right after this, jump over to the boxing voice, see what I got to say there. And we're going to discuss a few things today. Mostly it's going to be the topic. Now, I know many of you saw the thumbnail, the greatest. Just read the title. There's an argument to be made that if Manny Pacquiao beats Errol the True Spence, that would be the greatest victory in welterweight history. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. And that's the black to short. Hell no, Biz. We'll talk about it. Also, Canelo Alvarez versus Plant. We could talk some more about that. Coming November, Plant had things to say. Okay. Wasn't bad. What Plant had to say wasn't bad. Well, I mean, bad for Canelo or Canelo fans or whatever, but it came from a decent perspective. Manny Pacquiao and his fight potentially being canceled by Conor McGregor's management. His fight with Errol Spence. No, the court chucked that shit out at the Tyson bell. Nothing's in the way of Manny Pacquiao versus Errol the True Spence when it comes to that court case. Thank goodness. Everybody give that judge a hand. He threw it out. He saw it as publicity. He didn't even take it seriously. So he chucked that out. What else do we have to talk about? Teofimo Lopez and Cambosos. We'll talk about that a little bit. Okay, what's up with you? Okay, we're 4 minutes in. There's almost 200 people in here. Let's see what else you guys got to say. Did you guys love the live stream? We had a great live stream. It was a very underrated live stream. There were only like 15,000 people there. And I mean, only that makes me look like a jackass. For all you smaller channels, only, man. Kiss my so that's a lot of people. Hit the Tyson bell. But Lewis versus Gane, it kind of went how we were thinking. We were just saying, okay, Lewis probably win the right hand. He knows magic. But Gane is better, right? He's all around better, and Gane is going to just kick on him until he gets tired, and then he just outclassed Lewis. All right, but that's not that a big hit, like a big diss towards Lewis. I think Gane can be the heavyweight champion of the world. I think he's that special. I think Gane is to look into the future. So Gane beating Lewis, man, we all kind of saw it. I put $100 on Derek Lewis to win. thought it was fun because of the odds, going against the odds. Maybe if I win, that'd be, we decided as the community to not bet that much money. Let's just bet $100 a yard. I mean, we put money on the fight on busr.com. Go to busr.com/showbiz. Place a bet on your favorite fights. So we did that. But it was a great night. Keyshawn Davis, I called that fight for the Olympics against Cruz. He didn't win. And I want to say this. About that. ShowBizz, a better way of boxing. Thank you so much. Spence going to bust Manny up. Well, that's what we're talking about. You're right, Biz, but I love the Duran victory over Leonard. Me too. That's probably the best welterweight fight of all time. Okay, it's Tyson Bell. But we'll talk about that. Let's talk about the Olympics real quick. We don't have 200 people in here yet. Everybody, make sure you hit the like button. Get everybody in this great morning. I know you guys out there probably got a case of the Mondays. Wake up! Wake the hell up! ShowBizz the adult is on. Wake up! But yeah, Keyshawn Davis. Look, this is how I look at that fight. Him winning the silver and Cruz beating him. This is how I look at that fight. And when I called it that night, but it wasn't the people who watched me call that fight 1, 2 in the morning, however late it was. Much respect to you, much love to you, especially those in the UK that stay. Woo. Cruz is a better amateur performer than Keyshawn is. Keyshawn looked like he's ready for the pros. He doesn't, when you look at, and I said it that night, when you look at Cruz fight, pop, pop, tap, 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 put his hand up. Look, I scored another point. Pop, pop. He's perfected the amateur way. I know those guys, pro guys. But what I'm saying is, and most of the guys in the Olympics were pro guys, but not big time pro guys, just starting out. Keyshawn to me is more of a pro level fighter. And I mentioned it before. If you look at Errol the True Spence, an Olympian, but did he medal? How far did he get? But look what type of pro he is. You look at Henry Tillman, beating Iron Mike Tyson. Iron Mike Tyson, I guess he wasn't that great of an amateur when it comes. But as a pro fighter, look at the difference between Tillman, Biggs, and Iron Mike Tyson. Okay? Hit the Tyson bell. Davis, to me, when I watched him fight, I said, oh, he beats you up. He's a pro level. He's a pro style, not level. He's a pro style fighter. And I'm going to tell you a big example of this. Lomachenko. Lomachenko is probably the greatest amateur of all time. When he first stepped into the pros, he fought Salido like an amateur. Salido was doing all the things, hitting them low, borderline, grabbing them, muscling them. I mean, it was like, yo, welcome to the pros, right? I think Salido was a dirtball all fight, but still, he knew the pro game. Lomachenko was like, wait a second, hold on. Welcome to the pros. Salido took that fight. Right? So Lomachenko was like, okay, I see what I got to do. Right? Hit the Tyson bell. Like I say. So let's talk. Right, Sully? One of them. Okay, so let's talk. We got over 270 people in here very quickly. Thank you guys so much. That's the Black Two Sugars. If Manny Pacquiao beats Errol the True Spence, it's the greatest welterweight victory of all time. His manager Gibbons said that, and I agree. Hit the Tyson bell. Who disagree? Yeah, Eric Johnson. Keyshawn be an entertaining pro. Who disagree with me? If Manny Pacquiao beats Errol the True Spence, it'll be the greatest welterweight victory of all time. Who disagree with me? Because maybe you can change my mind. I agree. No one, 100%. No one's been too long in amateurs. No, I mean, he's great. A long, great amateur background makes you a great pro for sure. I agree, but Spence wins easy. Well, that's what we're talking about. That's why Pacquiao winning would be the greatest welterweight victory. We're not talking about who wins. I know. See, you got this right here. Let me tell you something about this. Paul V. He cannot give an edge to Manny Pacquiao with anything. He is so, see, that right there shows a little bit of insecurity for me. You can't even just give him that love. But Spence went, no, there's no but. If Manny Pacquiao beats Spence, is it the greatest win in welterweight history? Yes. Game, you don't have to You don't have to, but Spence, but you don't even have to do that. Right? Let's not do that. We're not even on who will win the fight. Look, let me tell you something. Could be. Okay, 100% agree. Okay, look. Manny is the greatest. See? And there go another. Manny's the greatest, right? We're not even on that. Duran beating Leonard, I think. But here's the thing about Duran beating Leonard. Great win. Great win for Duran. But at least Duran was in his prime. At least Leonard, at least they were in their primes. At least Duran is the greatest lightweight of all time. At least Duran. You feel what I'm saying? Okay? When you think, okay, let's think of the greatest welterweight fights of all time. All right? Hold on real quick. Charles Baker. Agreed. Pac is not supposed to win this one. Spence hits harder. You seen Beer Speed snatching the stress ball. Yeah. Mutant level. Give it to him. That's why you say Spence got to be perfect. Look, some of the greatest welterweight fights of all time. Let's go. And you can jump in the war room. Help me out. Duran versus Leonard. That's probably the best, as of right now, the best welterweight fight ever. But we can discuss that. Hearns versus Leonard. That's probably number 2. Sugar Ray Robinson versus Kid Gavilan. That's one of the greatest welterweight fights ever. Sugar Ray Robinson versus Tommy Bell. Hell, one of the greatest welterweight fights of all. Chavez versus Sweet Pea Whitaker. Oscar De La Hoya versus Sugar Shane Mosley. Now I'm on a roll. These are some of the greatest welterweight. You could actually throw Pacquiao versus Cotto. One of the greatest victories in what, but that was the catch weight. Let's throw that out. Forget that I said that. My man said Duran versus Pac. We're talking about the greatest welterweight fights that actually happened. Okay. Ugas versus that actually happened. All right. But Manny is the greatest South. What? So listen, these are the greatest welterweight fights to happen. Manny Pacquiao defeating. Hold on. Wait a second. When Errol is pressured, he goes into high guard and waits until his opponent is done. Not exactly. No, that's wrong. I believe Manny outworks him at least until round 7-ish. So you think he makes Errol Spence keep his hands in his pocket? Wrong. Errol Spence punch with you. He punches with you. He definitely blocked because he's so technically sound, but he punches with you. Oh yes, that's what makes him so dangerous. Oh no, you tripping. He punches with you. He punches you off of him too. He's a dog. That's part of his whole thing. Terrence Crawford does the same thing. That's what we got love with. Keith one time Thurman was big at doing that when he was one time. He was big at doing that too. So when you think of the best wins, let's talk about the greatest welterweight victory. The two. Sugar Ray Leonard versus her. Hell, Sugar Ray Leonard versus Wilfred Benitez. That's another one. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns. He knocks out Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns was seen as such an uphill battle, ridiculous dude. But at least Sugar Ray Leonard was in his prime and Hearns was in his prime. Okay? Sugar Ray Leonard beating Hearns was still feasible. It still made sense. It makes more sense than Manny Pacquiao at 42 with all of the disadvantages beating the number 1 welterweight in the world and Errol the True Spence, doesn't it? Now, same thing with Duran and Leonard. Same thing with Leonard and Wilfred Benitez. Same thing with Sugar Ray Robinson and Tommy Bell. Same thing with Sugar Ray Robinson and Kid Gavilan. Same thing. Okay, I think Chavez and Sweet Pea was a draw. Okay, Sugar Shane Mosley beating Oscar De La Hoya. Same thing. At least they were in their primes. Talk about Fox versus no. I'm talking about what's going on right now. I'm talking about the title. I'm talking about the subject. This is what I ask people to come in and look at and watch, and that's what we're going to do. Don't dictate the show. Get out if you want to look. Talk about something else. Pacquiao beating Spence is equivalent to when Duran beat Iran Barkley. It's something like that. Except for Spence is better than Iran Barkley. Okay? But it's something like that. Here's the Tyson Bale. Spence is a better welterweight than Iran Barkley was middleweight. It's something like that. Iran Barkley wasn't the number one middleweight in the world when Duran beat him. Honestly, it's better than Floyd versus Canelo. Was that at welterweight? Is it at welterweight? We're just talking about welterweight. All right? Look. The only thing that rivals something like this, Iran Barkley, you talk about across if you want to talk about beyond welterweight, you said Floyd, Canelo Alvarez. Floyd was outside of his prime. Canelo Alvarez was a big dude, very young. He wasn't into his prime yet. But there was a catchweight. So that put the asterisk next to it. Hold on 1 second. I agree. Manny, who is the last boxer of his era, defeating the top young guys of this new era, would be the greatest victory ever. Hit to Tyson Bale. Let me tell you, it's not supposed to happen. You don't do this. The only thing close, you got people, you kind of think about Pavlik, Kelly Pavlik versus Bernard Hopkins, but still Bernard Hopkins was a big kid. He was longer in the tooth. Like I said, George Foreman against Michael Moore, but George Foreman is arguably the hardest puncher ever. Big heavyweight, and Michael Moore, who is skillful but smaller. Manny Pacquiao Spence got the age advantage. Peace to the community, sir, the podcast. Thank you so much. Errol Spence has the age advantage. He has the height advantage. He has the reach advantage. Okay. He's ranked higher than Manny Pacquiao as a welterweight right now. He has everything. He has great technical boxing skills. He has a very high IQ. It's not like he's just a physical dominant guy and that's it. Errol Spence is known for his high IQ. The guy got crazy heart. The guy's a dog. He'll box you. He'll fight you. Errol Spence there is no way Manny Pacquiao should beat this kid. Okay? Not only is Manny Pacquiao old, but he's undersized. He was never a welterweight to begin with. All right? Hit to Tyson Bale. On top of that, Errol the True Spence is a southpaw. Sanchez gave Manny Pacquiao issues 20-something years ago. Diaz was the last time he whooped the hell out of him. He was nowhere on Errol the True Spence's level. Manny Pacquiao don't fight southpaws like that either. This is everything is wrong with this fight. What did Apollo Creed's trainer say to Apollo Creed about Rocky? He said he's all wrong for us, baby. Hit the Tyson Bale. Errol the True Spence is all wrong for Manny Pacquiao. All wrong. The only argument for Manny Pacquiao beating Errol the True Spence is just the fact that he's Manny Pacquiao. And that's never enough. Not when you're 42 years old. So if Manny Pacquiao pulls that out, beats Errol the True Spence, it is the greatest victory in welterweight history. Spence number one. What will happen to Spence's career if he loses? Nothing. He lost to Manny Pacquiao. He goes on, keep fighting. It's cool. I mean, hold on, Sammy. I don't know how y'all think. I'm speaking from my perspective. I know fans love to get on people. They won't cheer Manny as much as they would diss Errol Spence. So people love to just attack for the negative. All right. So I don't know what people going to do. I don't know how much I can trust the people. Right. So people going to attack Errol Spence and call him exposed, overrated. You let a old 42-year-old. They're not going to talk about something great that Manny Pacquiao did. They're going to attack Spence. So I don't know about the people. Me, I'm just going to be like, man, Errol Spence is just that great. And not Errol Spence, but Manny Pacquiao just that great. And Errol Spence never faced that's his toughest opponent ever. And it makes sense. He's an icon. Forget it. I'll be all over Manny Pacquiao. And Errol Spence, you'll just get back on your feet, fight Yordanis Ugas, maybe try to get a rematch, something like that. Just keep fighting. That's what fighters do. Fighters fight the fight. Spence is the king now. King of what? Perception becomes reality 100%. Bud the king now. King of what? Let's see. What's new about the other guy being the bigger guy, and Spence don't fight southpaws all the time either. Right. Good point. And what's new about the other guy being the bigger guy? Spence isn't the other guy. That's what's new. Spence isn't the other guy, Lewis. That's like calling Larry Holmes the other guy when he fought Ali. That's like calling Rocky Marciano the other guy when he fought Joe Louis. Hey, Joe Louis fought younger guys before. What's the difference? Younger guys who can hit hard. Rocky Marciano was a great. Right? That's the difference. Sugar Ray Robinson wasn't the other guy when he fought Henry Armstrong. That's the difference. You may not know who Errol the True Spence is, but a lot of people in the war room do. And they know Errol the True Spence can possibly be a future legend. It's different. You may not know him, Lewis, but we do. Errol the True Spence has beaten Kell Brook, broke his orbital bone, rib cage, all those things. Beat Danny Garcia like he wasn't even there. Beat Showtime Sean Porter. Oh, yes. Errol the True Spence is unified #1 welterweight in the world. He's not the other guy, and that's the point. That's like calling the G-Man, Gerald McClellan, the other guy when he knocked out Julian the Hawk Jackson, hit the Tyson Bell. The G-Man wasn't the other guy. Roy Jones Jr., when he beat Mike McCullum, he wasn't the other guy. He was the next guy. He wasn't the other guy. Y'all talk about greatest southpaws ever. Hector Camacho is one of them. And when he beat Sugar Ray Leonard, he wasn't the other guy. When Oscar De La Hoya beat Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., he wasn't the other guy. When Anthony A.J. Joshua beat Klitschko, hell, when Tyson Gypsy King Fury beat Klitschko, he wasn't just the other guy. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Manny is too small. Let me see. Pac's win against Thurman is more impressive, I think, than if Pac beat Spence. You're just saying that, SD. You're just saying that. Look at Thurman's fight before he fought Manny Pacquiao. Who did he fight? Who? Josecito Lopez. What happened? Steve Willis was like this. Hit Thurman, spent his head. He's looking in the air. When did Thurman, when was his last fight before Josecito Lopez? He was gone for like 2-some years, 2.5 years. He got stripped of the WBC title. You're just talking. Errol the True Spence last fight was Danny Swift Garcia, top welterweight in the world. Before that, it was Showtime Sean Porter. He beat them both. Him and Showtime Sean Porter was arguably the fight of the year. You're talking about Keith Thurman's career. I'm talking about what have you done for me lately. The Keith Thurman that Manny Pacquiao fight fought is worse off than the Errol the True Spence that Manny Pacquiao is about to fight. All you need to do is look at his last couple fights. Don't just talk. We all know the truth in the war room. Hit the Tyson Bell. You're going to talk about when Thurman looked crazy against Josecito Lopez. He was a tougher opponent than Errol the True Spence. You must have lost your mind. Let's see. Bud is more dangerous fighter than Spence because he is a counterpuncher. Y'all in the war room must be getting busy about Spence, and who cares? Let's talk about what's going on right now. ShowBizz, regardless who wins, I think Thurman versus Spence, it's an exciting fight to make, always been. It was more exciting when Keith Thurman was in his prime. And I'm not talking about age. I'm talking about condition. He was in a more prime condition before the elbow injury, this injury, that injury, right? When he was fighting more often. The peak Keith Thurman when he took on Showtime Sean Porter. That's when it was exciting, right? Yeah, we need to see a Keith one time. Dwayne versus Broner or something like that. Let's see. Manny Pac has 0 chance of winning. Manny Pac is 43 years old, 5'5", 2-year layoff. The chance that he has against Errol the True Spence is this. Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. Okay. Let me run this by you. This is the chance that he has. Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao has more experience than Errol the True Spence, meaning his IQ is higher than Errol the True Spence. So, when I brought up when I did the reaction to Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao speed yesterday, how many of you guys saw that? I missed the super chat. I'm sorry. Yeah, I totally missed it. My bad. And things like that. How many of you guys saw that? You saw it. Okay. When I did the reaction to Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao speed, everybody was like, ShowBizz, but air doesn't hit back. Air doesn't hit back. Air doesn't hit back, baby. Why are you impressed? Air doesn't hit back. Well, unlike you, I've watched Manny Pacquiao hit people for years. So I know he can punch people. I already know how good Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao is. Here, the question is, does Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao still got the tangibles? Does he still have the speed? Does he still have the measurables? Does he still have the power? Hit the Tyson Bale. That's the question. Y'all saw him punching air. And everybody who said that never seen a Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao fight. That's the difference. I know what happens when Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao fights somebody. Why he's punching air, why that impresses me, because I got to see the tangibles. Does he still have the speed? Does he still have the power? Does he still have the quickness? Does he still have the reflexes? Does he still have the movement? Because if he's still physically there, as close to prime as possible, then oh shit, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao can possibly beat Errol the True Spence, and that's the Black Two Sugars. Right? So then you got to do this. Hold on real quick. So then you got to take a look at this. Hold on, my bad. Huh? Missed my chat. I'm sorry about that. Bro. I'm on a roll. I'm sorry about that. Let me try to find your chat. I missed it. I'm sorry about that. But look at him. Look at him. Let's look at it again. Let's look at it one more again. Let's look at it again. And you say, wait a second. Look at his feet. Look at his rapid power. Look at that. Coming off the bam. Look at his feet. Perfect. Look at the separation of his feet. Perfect distance apart. Bam. Circles, lateral movement. He's still there. That's when you say, uh-oh, because you know he has everything else. Does he still have it? Because we know he has that thing that makes him great. Physically, does he have the tangibles? Does he still have it? And the thing is, the reason why I still say Errol the True Spence is going to win. Even after seeing that, let me ask you guys this. Do you know ShowBizz is adult enough? This is a quiz question. Why do you think I still think, after seeing those tangibles, hold on, don't sleep on Pac. He's not your average 43-year-old. He's an alien 2.0 B-Hop. This 2 year off will serve him well. And that's the black two sugars. Yeah, obviously it is serving him well. I know Roy Jones Jr. said this. I wish I would have had 15 years off from fighting like Mike Tyson. He's more conditioned than I am. Hit the Tyson bell. He's in better condition than I am, rather. I've been fighting all this time. That's what he said about Mike Tyson being out for 15 years. While everybody else was like, he rusty. He said, man, I wish I would have had 15 years off. If Manny can sustain his reaction time during the fight, he has a great chance. His speed didn't really matter against Floyd or Marquez. Floyd is just ridiculous, bro. He's just faster. Marquez, his speed did matter. He beat Marquez 3 out of the 4 times. You're talking about that one time. That was a bad decision from Manny Pacquiao to jump in aggressively like that. But that's Marquez is faster than Errol Spence. Okay. Hold on. Muscle memory. Hold on. Let me see. Sugar Ray is arguably the GOAT, fought well into his 40s, still getting KOs too. Would beat the brakes off any modern day welterweight. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure which Sugar Ray you're talking about, but both of them. Let me see. But his awkward pray for your boy. I want to see what you guys say. Why do you think I still see, after watching on Manny gas out? There you go. The question, the reason why I got Errol the True Spence beating Manny Pacquiao, y'all listen to me every morning in the podcast. He's showing great flashes like he did right there. My question is, can you sustain it? See, when you're old like me, baby, you look good. You look good for about 5-10 minutes. Oh my God. Ask my wife. Oh yes, community. Ask my wife. 5-10 minutes. I'm a monster. I step up in there like a champ. Huh? I'm Manny Pacquiao. I'll step in there like a champ. After that 5 or 10, baby, you start coming up with that Charlie horse excuse. Oh, yes. The infamous Charlie horse excuse. Hold on real quick. Oh, my God. Ladybug and here, and Ladybug form. Hit the Tyson bell. Call me a minute man. You got that right, half. You got that right. I ain't got that kind of time. And that's the black two sugar. That's new merch. Ask my wife. Hold on. No disrespect, Biz, but you are not Pac-Man. Ha! Oh, that is funny. That is funny. So the question is, can Pacquiao sustain it over a 12-round fight? Hold on. Oh, my God. The fight was canceled. Pat got COVID positive. It's all over the news now. I don't believe that. But everybody, he wants some attention. Let's see if he's right. Let's see if he's right. Y'all go ahead and look it up. He needs some attention right now. He needs some. 100%. Spence is overrated. Spence is overrated. How? Unclassified. Tell me how he's underrated. What hasn't he shown you? How is he underrated? What hasn't he shown you? Spence is underrated. Okay. What hasn't he shown you? He has a lazy jab. He got one of the best jabs in the business. What are you talking about? Oh, boxers, pro fighters, everybody praises his jab. So you are gone mentally when it comes to that, not understanding his jab. Let's do better. Spence showed that he can beat the hell out you, as Chris Algieri, ask Van Heerden, ask Kell Brook. Spence showed that he can slug with you for 12 rounds in a high-paced fight against a juggernaut. And Showtime Sean Porter, ask him. Spence showed that he can just jab you, outbox you, don't take much damage, as Danny Swift Garcia. It was right after the accident. It was his fight after the accident. Danny Swift Garcia, one of the hardest punches, probably the hardest punching welterweight in the world. He made sure he didn't get hit too much by Danny Swift, and Danny Swift put out an output more than he ever did. And Spence jabbed and boxed and beat the hell out of him. Eggs, Peterson. Lamont Peterson, jab, box, beat the hell out, then knocked him out. You want to talk about how does he deal with speed and smaller men? Ask Mikey Garcia. Top 4 pound-for-pound fighter in the world when he fought him. Smaller guy, quick guy, Manny Pacquiao, same thing. Small guy, quick, man, Manny Pacquiao way better than Mikey Garcia, but I'm just saying. A small guy, quick guy, quicker than Errol Spence. He outboxed that man for 12 straight rounds. I'm not saying that he's the greatest fighter in the world. I'm just saying he ain't underrated. He's a problem. Hit the Tyson Bell. But Biz, he hits hard. I'm making it more and more like a baby now. If you notice, I ain't high. Watch the video with Manny and Boo Boy on the miss. I saw that. I saw that on Fight Hype. I just don't want to get the copyright. Ask Mikey. Right. If Pac-Man beats Spence, does have a legitimate claim to the greatest fighter of all time title. But yes, I told you, in my mind, okay, Manny Pacquiao is the greatest fighter to ever. Like, if Manny Pacquiao, and you got to understand what I'm saying. Hold on. Who's the best opponent, Spence? And is he have a Hall of Fame? Who's the best opponent, Spence? And is he, who's the best opponent, Spence? Who is Spence's best opponent ever? Showtime Sean Porter, in my opinion. And is he having a Hall of Fame career? Yes. He's walking through all the welterweights, and the welterweight division right now is one of the most lit divisions, the welterweight division has ever looked. So it's not like he's fighting in a very low era. He's fighting in an era where you had Kell Brook and Keith One-Time Thurman and Adrian Broner and Sean Porter and Danny Swift Garcia and Manny Pacquiao, Terrence Bud Crawford. And I mean, like, it's ridiculous. All right. And he's walking through more than half of them right now. Okay. So yeah, he's having a Hall of Fame career. He's on his way. Team Mo and Unclassified, stop the capping. Yeah. You got to stop the capping. All right. You don't have to cap. Look, let me tell you something about capping. All right. If you're a Manny Pacquiao fan, don't cap. I'm a Manny Pacquiao fan, a bigger Manny Pacquiao fan than Errol Spence. I've seen Manny Pacquiao my whole life. Of course, I'm more of a fan of Manny Pacquiao than Spence. I was a fan of Manny Pacquiao before I even knew Spence existed. So, of course. But I ain't going to cap for two reasons. One, why lie for another man? I'm not into that. Never really been my thing. I don't take up for other men. Never. It's just never been my thing to lie for another man. I can have another man's back. What I mean by let me take that back. I can say, hey man, you guys dissing him too much. I mean, he's a fighter. Come on. He's doing great things. But I don't have to cap for another man. I don't have to lie for another man. And two, with me being a big Manny Pacquiao fan, I'm not going to keep bringing down the victory if Manny Pacquiao beats Errol Spence. Keep talking about how Errol Spence is underrated. He's not this. He's not that. And then when Manny Pacquiao beats him, I'm supposed to be happy. Say, hey, everybody, give Manny Pacquiao his love. No, you spent so much time convincing me that Errol Spence wasn't shit. I ain't like that. I'm too smart. I think ahead. Errol Spence is a great fighter. And if Manny Pacquiao beats his ass, that shows that Manny Pacquiao is arguably the greatest fighter of all time. Now, look, when it comes to boxing ability, Sugar Ray Robinson beat the hell out of Manny Pacquiao. Sugar Ray Leonard beat the hell out of Duran. I always said Floyd Mayweather would beat him almost every time. Okay? But I'm talking about accomplishments, achievements, and all those things together. Henry Armstrong beat the hell out of Manny Pacquiao. But accomplishments, achievements, doing the almost insane, impossible, got to put Manny Pacquiao up there. If he's not one, he's two. Right? Do you feel Spence is the same since the accident? I think he's better. I think Spence is better since the accident. No. Even beating Spence, I have Manny fourth on my list. That makes sense. Behind Robinson, Leonard, Henry Armstrong, good. Ali, good. That makes sense, Sante. Will he pep those boys? If you still got it like that, I'm not mad at you whatsoever. I'm just talking about me. I never seen anything like this before. If he beats Spence, I never seen anything. I can't even compare it to anything. David versus Goliath. Manny is Goliath. Funny. Pac's above Hagler right now. You know, I love Hagler. He's one of my favorite fighters ever. I love you, boy. We got to let the light in a minute. So Pac-Man becomes GOAT for beating a guy whose best opponent is Sean Porter. Wrong. Manny Pacquiao beaten the number one welterweight in the world in his prime, who is way bigger than most welterweights out there, beating him on top of all of his accomplishments at 42 years old makes him the GOAT. Not beating Errol Spence by himself. He's already top 10 for signing the damn fight. For signing the fight against Terrence Crawford, it measures his heart. It measures his spirit. It's a measure of the fighting man. Right? It's a guy not looking for all the advantages. We were talking about Canelo versus Caleb Plant, Canelo versus Bivol, how Canelo makes sure you got to have this stipulation, this one. Manny Pacquiao is the guy that should not be taking on Errol the True Spence, and he's doing it anyway. It's measuring him way more than Canelo. It's demonstrating. It's an example of how great that man is and why and how we measure greats. I'm not saying beating Errol Spence by himself makes him the all-time great fighter, or the number one great fighter in the world. Beating Errol Spence, no. I'm talking about beating Errol Spence, number one welterweight in the world in his prime at 42 years old, beating Keith Thurman when he was 40 years old, and beating all the other 8-time division world champion, all that, all together collectively. Okay. If you think about top 5 greatest Mexican fighters of all time, or top 10, top 7, you can't go too long without mentioning the likes of Marquez and the Eric Morales. He fought them. He fought all of them. I'm talking about all inclusive. Errol Spence is that cherry on top. It's say, okay, I know how great that man is. That's what I'm saying. It's not just beating Errol Spence and that's it. Y'all got to think. I believe he's better since the accident. He's focused. Thank you. And not taking anything for granted anymore. Exactly. The Errol the True Spence that fought Showtime Sean Porter is probably the worst Errol the True Spence ever. Alcoholic. I said it. not focused. And I'm going to call him an alcoholic, and I'm going to say he's not focused because that's the type of guy I don't want my son to be like. But this guy now, more of the family man, more focused right after Danny Garcia, jumping right back on the road and training and running to keep his weight down. That's a man that I want my son to look up to. So I'm going to talk negatively about that other guy flipping over in a car in the Ferrari. Thank God he survived it, but drunk as hell driving, so I can tell my son that is what you don't do. If you're drunk, get an Uber. Call me. I'm always up for you. Hit the Tyson bell. I'm going to argue this. The Errol the True Spence now is better than the one that fought Showtime Sean Porter. That's the Black Two Sugars. So where's Floyd on your list? I can't understand how Manny is placed over Floyd on anyone's list. Okay, don't. Floyd is top 15 for me. Top 17, top 15 for me. When Manny Pacquiao took on Keith Thurman and then beat him at 40 years old, I put him over Floyd. That was the moment I put him over Floyd. That moment right there. Their career was very similar, but he showed something that Floyd didn't show. When Floyd didn't have all the tools that he had in his prime, he started bringing down the level of competition, where Manny Pacquiao went for the Super WBA title by taking Keith one-time Thurman undefeated. Ranked in the top 3 welterweights in the world. That difference made me say that that guy is greater. That's when I put him over. Now, fighting Errol Spence, Floyd Mayweather would never do nothing like that. When Errol Spence beat Floyd Mayweather in sparring, they kicked him out. They didn't even say, hey, you gave me a black eye. You embarrassed me. I'm coming back tomorrow to spar with your ass. They didn't even want to spar with him anymore. That's sparring, let alone a fight in front of millions at 42 years old. That's how I measure a fighter. That's just my measurement. You don't have to agree. You don't have to agree. I hate when people say every time Pac, oh, you flexed on him. Flex on him. Flex on him. Huh? Huh? See? Ah! I hate when people say every time Pac does something great, it makes Floyd look even greater because the win. That's ridiculous. Fight. So everyone that beat Pac, the triangle theory doesn't work. Somehow they better too. Pac out there making retirement fighter better. No, I'm not about that life. And honestly, every time someone says something great about Manny, you don't have to take up for Floyd. Just love Floyd. Just love him. If you love Floyd, just love him. You don't have to take up for Floyd. That's your guy. My guy is Floyd. No one would ever be greater than Floyd ever. He's a mastermind genius. I love Floyd. Just love him. We're talking about Manny Pacquiao versus Spence. Floyd ain't even part of the, we're talking about Manny Pacquiao versus Spence. So I'm like, hey, you can big up Manny. We don't have to take up for Floyd. That's your guy. That's your guy. You love Floyd. Hey, I love Floyd, bro. You know, let me tell you something. Roy Jones is the greatest fighter I've ever watched. I don't keep talking about Roy Jones every time somebody talk about Manny Pacquiao. Every time somebody talk about Bernard Hopkins, I don't say, but Roy was great. Bernard Hopkins, greatest. If somebody say, hey, he's one of the greatest middleweights of all time, I'm like, yeah, he is. I don't have to say what I think about Roy. Roy? He's just my favorite fighter ever. He's the best fighter I've ever watched. That's all. Will you agree if Manny and Porter defeat the 2 undefeated top welterweights, it will bring balance to the weight class and fighters will be strap hungry? Yes. Yeah. People need their asses whipped. So Manny is better than Floyd, but lost to Floyd. Make it make sense. No, I keep saying the same thing. Who's greater, Iran Barkley or Tommy Hearns? I keep saying, I can use the same example all day long. Who's greater, Iran Barkley or Tommy Hearns? Make it make sense. Iran Barkley beat Tommy Hearns twice. Who's greater? Say Iran Barkley if you want. Get your ass out the war room. He beat Tommy Hearns twice. Say Iran Barkley is greater than Tommy Hearns. Say it. Say it. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You say it. Say it. You make that make sense. That Iran Barkley is greater than he beat his ass twice. You say it. Just because he lost to Floyd doesn't mean Floyd is better, has a better career. Floyd was a better fighter, but not as great. Thank you. Where you at, New? You say it. I'm about to go in a minute. I got to prepare to go to the Boxing Voice. Make sure all of you go over to the Boxing Voice. Me and the Boxing Voice going to chat. If Andre Ward came back and beat Canelo, would you have him up there with Pac, Roy B? I mean, not all together, because his career wasn't as great as theirs altogether. But it'll be a great win. But that's if Roy came back right now and beat AJ, bro. I mean, Ward ain't coming back. You know what I mean? No, where are you? Boxing fans are hilarious, ShowBizz. Oh, speak your mind. What's going on, brother? That's why they need to come to your channel so they can see clear. Come to your channel too. Damn it. I'm more popular, but I don't mean I know more. Hit the Tyson Bear. Popular, being more popular don't mean knowing more. I'm way more popular than you. Yep, obviously. That don't mean I know more. You know, people got to get off that too. Get the knowledge from wherever you get it from. From wherever you get it from. As long as you get some good, valuable knowledge, bro. Or something you can learn from and get speaking mind and me and whoever and Counterpunch and whoever. Just everybody together and then come up with your own way of thinking. Where's New at? Where's New? Nothing but crickets. Boy, if you don't come here and say make it make sense and then be nothing but crickets, let me get your if Floyd had James Toney offense, he's top 5. Offense. Floyd needed more integrity. He needed the Floyd that fought Diego Corrales, that went up, fought Sean Bay Mitchell, went up, who fought Chop Chop Corley, fought those boys, went up and fought Zab Judah. The one that was calling out Oscar De La Hoya and Sugar Shane Mosley when Sugar Shane Mosley was like, my tooth is loose. Yeah, Sugar Shane ducked him. Yep. In front of the whole world. If he kept that, the more and more it looked like he was going to retire undefeated, the less integrity he had. That got Floyd. That's what got him. He's still top 15 greatest fighter of all time. But that's what got him. That's all. That's all. Same thing with Rocky Marciano. Yep, I said it. I love Rocky Marciano, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, probably top 10. Okay, greatest heavyweight of all time. Love that boy. But Sonny Liston was breathing down his damn neck, and that's the Black Two Sugars, and he bounced early. Rocky Marciano, I love you, boy, but you bounced early. Sonny Liston was breathing down that damn neck, and that's the Black Two Sugars. And everybody knew Sonny Liston was coming. Rocky Marciano left at 32, 33 damn years old, man. Yeah, could knock Joe Louis through the bottom rope when he had was balding at the top of his head. Take on Jersey Joe Walcott when he was aging. Didn't even give himself the chance to age when Sonny Liston was coming around that corner. I know people hate when I say that, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Ring rap. Salute UK, bro. Pac-Man different. Love Biz. He is. He is different. I meant the offense of that. I meant that offense of that defense. Oh, I get what you're saying. Instead of the pop shot. Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, he would have been a different fighter. It would have been nice, though. I appreciate that, ShowBizz. Oh, much love to you, brother. What do you guys say? I saw some. When Liston was 47. What are y'all talking about? Y'all probably going at it, bro. Talking about when Liston fought Chuck Wetner. Floyd 51-1. Stop it. Welterweight. Even I didn't even talk about everything I needed to talk about, but that's all right. This is a Manny Pacquiao Spence podcast. Welterweight isn't even his natural weight class. Gervonta Davis is even bigger than Manny. I don't know. I don't know about that. Is Tank Davis bigger than Manny? I don't know about that. Is he? I guess so. Is he? Let me tell you something about Manny. Manny isn't a welterweight, all right? But Manny be bigger than you think, but he's a little guy. Maybe Tank is bigger. Tank could mess around and eat himself to 170 or something. I don't think Manny can get above 150. That dude would have to go to so many cookouts, bro. Oh, Tank Davis is bigger. That was a very, I never thought about that. Yeah, he is bigger. No, I think Tank is bigger. Tank is physically, is bigger than Manny physically. Yeah. I think he can. Okay, this is what this means. What we're saying is Tank's ceiling. He can get heavier than Manny, meaning that his frame can carry more than Manny. That's all. Manny got a big ass head though. Boy, when you see Manny stand next to somebody, remember him with Clotty? Clotty is a bigger man, but Manny's head was like twice the Clotty. He turned his head to the side, like, being a fight fan is awesome. You can actually root for more than one fighter. Being a fanboy makes some people say ridiculous things. Love your show. That was one of the most intelligent comments I've ever heard in my life. Manny was heavier than Floyd on fight night. I didn't know that. I never heard that. I didn't know that. I know Floyd has a bigger frame than Manny. But Manny could have been. By how much? A pound or two? I never knew that. I can't say that he was. I can't argue it. I have no idea. I have no idea. You can be lying. I have no idea. But I never knew that. If that's the case, Floyd's a little guy too, though. We were making that point a couple live streams ago, or maybe the live stream before our last one, before the Saturday night fight. Floyd was a small guy. Oh, he is a small guy. Those calves. All right, man. Look, so I'm about to go on over to the Boxing Voice. Go over there. I forget what we're talking about. Oh, Jesus. If Hearn can't beat him, how is he better than Barkley? He had his number. Floyd will have Pac today. Brother, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I said, who's greater? Tommy Hearns is greater than Barkley. If you don't think so, get the hell out of here. I've also said that Floyd would beat Manny Pacquiao every time they fought, but Pacquiao is greater. You got to know what I'm talking about. You're kind of a waste of air right now, but thanks so much for the super chat. Got that Rottweiler head. Speaking mine is hilarious. No war room without me. A pig. Ain't pork if Manny beat Arrow. A pig. Oh my Lord. I hate you, Cooley. I gotta go, dog. I really go. Go to busr.com/showbiz. Place a bet on your favorite fight. My man said needs help. He is a casual. Big time. ShowBizz. Don't go over to the Boxing Voice. I'll be over there in a minute. Check them out. I'm out. Oh my goodness. I am so sick of